I created G-plans out of nutrition frustration. One day during nutrition studies at Duke University, we came across a revelation. We discovered that everyone has a completely unique metabolic structure and type. Eating a generic diet program will not get you the results you want, and you will continue on a path of yo-yo dieting forever. Ultimately, sustainable food programs are built within your own specific metabolic template.
I eat what Dr. G tells me to eat for my metabolic type. I don't call this program a diet because I eat more than on other programs.
Hello and welcome to another edition of our Nutrition Masterclass. Thank you so much for joining in today. We have a really good topic we're going to discuss today on the importance of accountability with weight loss goals specifically. So a lot of the times we can think, I have a great plan and I'm fine to do this on my own. However, there's always going to be certain times where your motivation can be lacking a bit. So having an accountability support partner of some type is going to make sure that on those moments that things get a little tougher, or maybe you're lacking motivation, that you can stay on track. So we'll dive into why, of course, they're so important and some ways to kind of look for that support and accountability and find the right type of support for you. So thank you so much for tuning in today. As usual, please feel free all throughout this presentation. If you have any questions come up, any kind of feedback you'd like to add, please do so in the chat box. I love to always have a conversation with you at the end of this presentation today. So we'll go ahead and get right in. Right. Okay, so the importance of accountability for weight loss goals. Have you ever set a goal for yourself, but realized somewhere along the way you were simply just lacking motivation a bit? It is in these moments that accountability plays an important role. Research by the American Society of Training and Development found that if you commit to someone to achieve a specific objective, you have a 65% greater chance of meeting your goal. Sometimes simply just knowing what to do is not enough. There are many ways to find support through others and hold yourself accountable to your goals. Setting your goal is the first step. Then finding a way to ensure you are accountable to your goal should be your next step. As you work towards your goal, it is inevitable that there's going to come a time where you might find your motivation slipping a bit. This is why accountability is so important and will help to ensure that you do not fall off track. So, breaking it down, what is accountability? Accountability is defined as, Accountability is defined as an obligation or willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. So in essence there, accountability involves making a commitment to someone to follow through on a specific action. Accountability involves some type of contract, sometimes an informal or unspoken one, where yourself or another person is involved in monitoring your results. When you are accountable to yourself and others, it makes you honest and inspires you to change and grow in ways you may not have believed possible. So, why is accountability so important? Accountability is very important because despite how ambitious you feel when setting your goal, there will come moments of weakness. Finding ways to create accountability help to increase your likelihood of continuing with your new healthy habit. Being intentionally accountable makes you honest and compels you to grow and change. We know that when setting a goal, it is important to make the goal as specific as possible. In addition, without creating ways to hold ourselves accountable to the goal, we are not as likely to achieve it. Accountability ensures that we have ways to stay consistent even when the motivation may be lacking. different types of what accountability can look like, internal versus external accountability. There are two main kind of types of accountability, both the internal and external. Internal is also known as personal accountability. This is the standard that you hold yourself to and the level of responsibility that you take in meeting your own expectations. External accountability is answering to other sources, such as your family, friends, or even like a health coach. When working towards your goals, internal and external forms of accountability are both important and can work side by side to help you stay on track. So, with internal accountability, holding yourself accountable can be difficult if your goals are unclear and you don't have more of a clear plan for achieving them. Here are some tips to take to make internal accountability more achievable. First off, be self-aware. It's important that you acknowledge your strengths and your weaknesses when you are setting goals and creating a plan. Ensure that you are setting a goal that is going to be very realistic for you. Oftentimes, when we initially set a goal, we want to push ourselves, we want to create a big challenge. However, sometimes this can backfire on us. Just setting goals that might be somewhat impossible for you to reach, and they lead to failure, we can start to lose momentum over time. So make sure that you're setting a goal that really makes sense for you. Secondly, set very specific goals with action steps. You can't hold yourself accountable if you don't know specifically what you're working towards. Make your goals very clear and measurable so that there is no doubt as to whether you have reached your goal or not. After that, it is important to break down your goal into actionable steps. This answers the question as to how you will reach your goal. So you might have a larger goal, but it's very important, again, to divide that goal into much smaller steps. What's the first step that you're going to take towards achieving that goal? And lastly, schedule your time. Once you've discovered that you are what you're working towards, you have to identify how you will hold yourself accountable and achieve that goal. It may take some time and experimentation to learn what system works best for you. Maybe you prefer to review your daily goals every morning or create your plan for the week ahead over the weekend. Discover what kind of works best for you, what works into your schedule, and you're able to stay consistent with, and then stick with it. Build that into part of your routine. External accountability. There will be days that you won't want to put in the work. It's going to happen. And on those days, it is essential to have a support system. People that will hold you accountable, that will inspire, motivate, and push you to show up for yourself in moments you're struggling to find it within yourself. Research shows that we are much more likely to reach our health goals when we rely on social support. Here are a few things to keep in mind when you are seeking external accountability. First off, what kind of support are you looking for? So some people prefer more structured support, such as meeting weekly with a supportive group or someone like a health coach. Others may simply want to have a good friend they can call for moral support whenever needed. Ask yourself what external accountability that you need in order to succeed and seek that out. Secondly, be clear. When you find an accountability partner, be very clear on what that looks like. Will you have a monthly phone call discussing the next month's goals? Is it a weekly Zoom call where you check in and reflect upon the previous week? This way, when you both kind of are on the same terms with how you'll meet and how frequently, you'll have the same expectations and ensure that you have a plan as to how you will support one another. And lastly, where to find external accountability. External accountability could be provided by friends, family members, support groups, health coaches, or even from like-minded individuals on social media pages. Sometimes having more than one accountability partner is also a great idea. So reflecting back on what we mentioned with goals, needing to make your goals as specific as possible, reviewing what a SMART goal is. Before even reaching out for accountability, it's important to determine if your goals are SMART goals. Without setting goals that are easily trackable, attainable, and specific enough, it can be tough to reach your goals or even know if you have accomplished them. Set yourself up for success by setting a goal that is SMART. So SMART is an acronym. The first letter, of course, S, means specific. The goal should be highly specific, identifying a clear what, when, where, and why. The M is for measurable. The goal must have something that is measured in some way so that you know when you've accomplished it. The A is for achievable. The goal needs to be something that is possible for you to achieve given your resources and time constraints. R is for relevant. The goal should be important within the broader framework of your life and act as a stepping stone for other goals. In this case, your goal should be tied to your specific values. And lastly, the T means timely. So your goal should have a specific time limit for completion. In the process discussed above, your time frame is a single day. So keep all these things in mind when you are setting your goal, making sure that it's very specific, very attainable for you, measurable, relevant, and timely. Things to keep in mind when you are seeking an accountability partner. First of all, how would you like to communicate? What's your preference? Would you like to check in with each other over text, phone call, or in person? It is important to determine what will work best for your schedule so that you can be consistent with your check-in meetings, and also decide on which form of communication will provide you the most motivation. So definitely check in with your partner, see what works best for them and you as well. And secondly, how often will you communicate? Keep in mind that you can also, of course, have more than one accountability partner, and this can help you to create a larger support system. For more frequent check-ins, it can help to ask for accountability from those you already have more interaction with. This could look like seeking support from a family member at home for daily interaction, a coworker for daily interaction at work, and a long-distance friend or relative for weekly check-in support. And lastly, what do you need from your accountability partner? This is an important one. It's very important to understand what you truly need from your accountability partner, as this will help you to select someone that matches more closely with your needs. So for example, if you find that you prefer more direct feedback, you might choose someone who is more close to you and feels more comfortable providing that type of support. Make sure you let your accountability partner know the ways that you prefer receiving feedback as well. Nothing wrong with letting them know. You might need to tell them, hey, I really need you to be very, very direct with me, and really check in with yourself, determine what works the best, so that you can get the most, again, out of your accountability partner as well. All right, and that brings us to the end of our presentation on accountability today. So at this time, please feel free. If you have any questions, please add those in the chat box. I'd love to ask you too, how do you reach out for support? And who helps to hold you accountable to your goals? Please let me know what works best for you when it comes to an accountability partner. I'd love to have a discussion with you at the end of these presentations. So love for you to share with me today. All right. Okay. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I do hope this presentation today on accountability was helpful. No, it's so important. So even when we have the best intentions in mind, even when we're feeling so motivated to work towards our goals, seeking out additional support, having that internal support is so important, but seeking out that external support and accountability is so, so crucial as well to help in those moments where you might be struggling a bit. So definitely reach out, find what works for you, check in with yourself so that you know what type of support that you need. And then feel free as well. If you are a member of G Plans, we do have a great Facebook support page. So that's an awesome way to seek out support. And then our nutritionists, health coaches like myself, we are here as well to help provide you that support and accountability so that you can stay on track with your goals moving forward and accomplish what you're looking to accomplish. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope this was a helpful one. And next week, we're going to discuss really the importance of tracking your food intake when it comes to weight loss and why that's so important. So I hope you'll tune in then. Hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.